Welcome to a new daily top AskReddit video. Today's topic.
What is something you are convinced that people only pretend to enjoy? LinkedIn. LinkedIn is just Facebook but with, even, more corporate doublespeak and executive circle jerking. Humbled to announce my recent promotion to Regional Business Class Emerging Strategy Manager for Atlantic North Central. I'm thrilled to drive this team of rock stars and so grateful for the opportunity to thrive as their servant leader. Thank you for all your support, to my mentors, colleagues, and wife, the CEO of Household Smith. Staff team building and bonding. But, we're like a family here. Pleading face backhand index pointing right medium skin tone backhand index pointing left medium skin tone. Can I interest you in some pizza? On the inside of the pizza box, scribbled hastily in Sharpie, please don't unionize. Flat Earth theory. I'm entirely convinced no one is that stupid and they're just acting to be a part of something. Also the fake space people. I tend to just assume they are all trolling, because the alternative is too discouraging. In my opinion, flat earthers who are also fake spaces are more believable than flat earthers who believe space is real. Like, you think Earth is just a disk in space, when everything else in space is spherical. Or do you think all the spherical objects are actually just disks as well, that all happen to be facing the Earth? Loud AF music at social events. We're gonna host a social event, but prevent you from hearing what the person next to you says. Fart? ? High heels. I've never been able to wear without crazy pain, no matter which ones I've tried. Might sound crazy, but talk to some strippers. They'll know the good heels. My top 2 comments are about feet and ankles. This is weird, and if you got big feet, find you a drag queen. Sex with me. At least they pretend to enjoy it with you pensive face. At least you're getting it. Parades. It's just people walking by. I do enjoy parades at sci-fi cons, so you get to see all the cosplays nicely lined up. It's prettier to look at than a crowded mess and you're not missing more than half of those cool outfits. Also stormtroopers walking in line just hits differently. That's my only parade exception though. It's just people walking by, is killing me. Tears of joy. I think parades were invented back when the bar for good entertainment was much lower. Back then, a bunch of people walking by all at once was considered pretty sweet. Listening to people at work describing their weekends, especially on a Monday. I only care about restaurant recommendations. I only care about the NSFW stories. Being sung by a group of people happy birthday to you. I hate the birthday song. Hate it. It makes me so inexplicably uncomfortable. It's even worse because people sing it slowly, like a funeral dirge. It's terribly uncomfortable. Hilarious considering it's your cake day. Happy cake day to you. Party popper partying face. Happy cake day to you. Happy cake day to you. Happy cake day dear you. Wanderlust_25. Happy cake day to you. Clowns. Just, clowns. Ahem. Just don't wrap me in a cotton candy cocoon and drink my blood with a silly straw. Running. Like what the fuck? When you start running it is the most miserable experience. After pushing through that and you're able to comfortably run 5 kilometers it is weirdly addictive. You go in kind of a zoned out mental state while running. I was running 5 miles, about 8 kilometers, regularly at one point in my life. 3 to 4 times a week. I always hated it. I liked what it did for my health, stamina, fitness etc. But I hated it. I spent the entirety of every run trying not to think about the fact I was running, not to think about how my body felt. I never got that runner's high or addictive element. It was something that I forced myself to do every time I did it. I was proud of my accomplishment, but I did not enjoy it. Once you get into it that shit slaps. Yeah, being able to run rules. Building up your ability to run absolutely sucks. Influencer lifestyles, especially things like van life. You see them all smiles in their pics, but you know they're hating every minute of it. I could be wrong about this having never met a van life influencer IRL, but the non-influencer ones who do it because it's actually their preferred lifestyle are not the kinds of people who need a lot of attention. Yeah, I know someone who managed to work his way up into being a director of a relatively successful small business, so he's now on decent money and gotten himself comfortable free time. He does a lot of traveling in his van, for months at a time, and from what he said, he absolutely loves it. The freedom, exploration, and adventure, it looks and sounds amazing. Edit, people have pointed out that the permanent residency does make a difference, which is true. I'd imagine living on your wheels is a whole different experience that very few people are cut out for. On a similar note, a long time ago, I was convinced I would love backpacking. I planned 6-month, year-long trips, bought a super nice pack, even did a nice weekend hike to break in the pack. My husband said, let's trial this for 2 weeks before going for months at a time. And I'm so glad he suggested that BCI absolutely hated it. Love traveling, love seeing new places and all that good stuff, absolutely hated having to carry all my belongings on my back long term. I felt like a miserable turtle. After 2 weeks I was so glad to be home. Give me rolling luggage or give me death. Miserable turtle had me cackling. Meet and greets with celebrities. This was so life-changing. Quote, you just met another human being. Nothing changed. I've worked with many. People don't realize they would get a much nicer experience if they behaved normally and treated the celebrity like anybody else. I shared an umbrella with Beyoncé Knowles, as she was known at the time, for about 20 minutes and we talked about normal stuff and without any fuss. I worked at that venue for a week and she would come to me whenever she needed something, even though that wasn't my job. She asked for my phone number in the end and ensured one of her closest aides gave me his phone number. I suspect I got many gigs because of that, as people would call me out of the blue and say that this and that celeb asked him to hire me. I'm sure that, if I was behaving like a screaming fan under that umbrella, she would have disappeared as fast as possible. This story would be even cooler if it was Rihanna and you were standing under her umbrella. Celebrity worship in general and parasocial relationships with said celebs. See, Taylor Swift. Keeping up with the Kardashians. Watched it with my college roommates a couple of times and I was just like, I don't get it, the entire time. I am really big into makeup and I found 2 of Kylie's lip kits very discounted, $10 a piece when they were normally going for $30 a piece, and I really didn't get the appeal. I saw a conspiracy theory on a different subreddit saying that Kylie's makeup line is a money laundering scheme at this point, and that is something that I could actually get behind. Keeping up with the Kardashians, however. I want a show where a crew follows Garrick for a week. The glamorous Instagram life. Poly relationships. I have several friends who all tried poly relationships at some point in their life and every single one ended in disaster, and whenever they were all together in the same room at least one person looked like they were miserable and pretending to be okay with what was going on. Someone always got jealous or someone cheated. Or it was an excuse for 3 to 4 people to fuck each other for a few months until someone got bored and the people that were actually into it got hurt. I'm not saying it can't work, but I have seen zero evidence that it does. I also feel like long-term monogamous relationships are hard. Why would adding another person into that relationship make things better or easier? I live in a very expensive, liberal, large city. Polyamory was everywhere 2019 to 2022. Every single couple I knew is now divorced. I'm convinced that opening up the marriage is just a slow-motion divorce with more emotional pain. It's basically, let's see other people, but pretend we're not until the blisters show. Leaves one spoilt, selfish brat happy whilst the other 2 battle for her love. Going to nightclubs. I have definitely enjoyed them at times, given the right combination of company, music, mood and inebriation levels. Yeah, that combo only gets the correct ratio once in a blue moon. Most people that say they don't like clubs also often seem to, funnily enough, not like dancing a whole lot. Weird. My experiences are that most of the people who go to a club then hate it, went because they thought it would be an easy place to pick up women. Not because they wanted to go dancing. Eating ass. Social media is trying to convince me I'm the only person in the world not willing to do it, but I ain't buying it. If you're the giver, you just lick in a doo-doo hole trying not to think too hard about it. If you're the receiver, you're just getting your rusty sheriff's star polished and making your crack slimy, which is also an unpleasant feeling, while trying to not fart or shit on someone. It's all just too gross. Rusty sheriff's star is the funniest description ever XD. I used to have an aversion to performing cunnilingus, exacerbated by a chick who told me, lick me where I pee. I got over it, but it took a while. Put your food hole on my pee hole, bitch. A classic Ab-Soul line, let me put my mouth where you potty, boo. Now that's a different thing. I'll do that no problem, maybe not if she says lick me where I pee, because what the actual fuck, lady. But the chili ring! Exclamation mark. Why are you munching on the old peanut butter tarantula? It isn't just a step too far, it's a whole mile too far. Getting blackout drunk. I understand getting fun drunk, because it's actually fun. But blackout drunk? Why? What's the point? In every instance it happened to me it was unintentional. You get to the fun drunk part then overestimate how much you need to maintain that level. Or in my case I tend to sip whenever there's a silent moment or any form of awkwardness etc. That tends to escalate things. I think few who get to that point were actually going for it. Yeah, and you obviously never notice it happening. It's all the same drunkenness, and then the next morning you realize, I don't remember coming home. It's not intentional at all. I didn't want to think or feel. I don't drink like that anymore, but when your life feels awful, it's a way to escape for a little while. Also sometimes fun drunk slips over the line before you realize it. Yoko Ono's singing. Chuck Berry, oh underscore 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 oh. Lol, the look on his face. 5 a.m. Workouts. Yeah, hate it. But you know what I really fucking hate? 7 p.m. workout in an infernally crowded and loud gym. Gotta work out at some point, and in the morning the gym is usually almost all for me. I hate this before it happens, but afterwards is a feeling of pure peace and happiness. Ridiculously loud cars even when they are driving slow. I know it's always going to be easier on the person making the sound, but they got to find it annoying when other cars are loud to a corny level. I feel this one. Whenever I hear a loud car or bike passing by, it just makes me so angry for no reason. I know in my mind it's not a big deal, and I don't know why, but it just makes me furious. Other people think it's kinda funny to see my reaction, but in those moments, I'm just enraged. It's hard to explain lol, and it's irrational, but still. I've never come across someone who has a loud car and said, oh look at how loud and startling that is bro, I want one of those. Just stop. People with muscle cars enjoy the sound, but some motorcyclists with offensively loud bikes actually enjoy making normies suffer from hearing their bikes.